like to call to order this meeting of the Peabody City Council Finance Committee. Present for the committee this evening is Councilor Gamache, Gould, Manning Martin, and Turco. Myself as chair, also present. Our councilors Rosignol, Peach, Welton, O'Neill, Council President Melville, and Councilor Daigle. We have two items on the agenda this evening. First item is a bond order, gymnasium roof at the West Memorial School in an amount of $688,398. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Council. Hope all of you are doing well. A couple of items, as Chairman McGinn mentioned, for finance review tonight. The first bond order is for the gymnasium at the West Memorial School. This was one of the projects we identified as a school committee. Thank you. As a school committee, as a priority and a need. We filed with the Massachusetts School Building Authority seeking approval or a partnership with the MSBA in order to move forward with this project. It was under the accelerated repair, which is for roofs, boilers, windows, things of that nature. As you may recall, the core program is the other way to file with the MSBA, and that's for new school or major renovation. So this was one of the projects we put forward. We applied for last year, or actually it was the year before with the MSBA, and we were fortunate enough to be approved for the new roof at the West School. It's not the complete roof. The MSBA requires that the roof be over 27 years of age, so a large part of this qualified, and we're moving forward with that part. That's the percentage, or that's the number we're looking for, and they are reimbursing at approximately 58%, approximately 56 to 58%. I don't have the exact number, but just looking for approval and happy to answer any questions. It was approved by the school committee unanimously, and again, just looking forward to try to help move these projects along and try to extend the life of a number of our school buildings.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And you'll note, councilors, committee members, that Mr. Doucette is here, purchasing agent and director of finance, Mr. Gingras. Questions from the committee? Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If there's no questions from councilors, I'll make a motion to advertise the bond order as read.
We'll just hold for 1 second. Questions from other councilors? Seeing none, Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion to advertise as read the bond order for the West Memorial roof replacement. Be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Peabody that the City of Peabody appropriate the amount of $688,398 for the purpose of paying costs of replacement of the gymnasium roof at the West Memorial Elementary School, 15 Bow Street, Peabody, Mass. 01960. Excuse me. Including payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, the project, which proposed repair project would materially, excuse me, my glasses are not with me. Usually Councilor Roswell lends me the glasses. Thank you very much. Much better. Materially extend the useful life of the school and preserve an asset that otherwise is capable of supporting the required educational program and for which the City of Peabody may be eligible for a grant for the Massachusetts School Building Authority, said amount to be expended under the direction of the City of Peabody. To meet this appropriation, the City Treasurer is under the direction of the City of Peabody. To meet appropriation, the City Treasurer is authorized to borrow said amount under MGL Chapter 44 pursuant to any other enabling authority, that any premium received upon the sale of any bonds or notes be applied to the payment of costs approved by this vote in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 20, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs in a like amount. The City of Peabody acknowledges that the MSBA's grant program is a non-entitlement discretionary program based on need as determined by the MSBA, and any project cost the City of Peabody incurs in excess of any grant approved by and received from the MSBA shall be the sole responsibility of the City of Peabody, provided further that any grant that the City of Peabody may receive from the MSBA for the project shall not exceed the lesser of 1/54 and 79/100% of eligible approved project costs as determined by the MSBA, or 2, the total maximum grant amount determined by the MSBA, and that the amount of borrowing authorized pursuant to the vote shall be reduced by any grant amount set forth in the project funding agreement that may be executed between the City of Peabody and the MSBA, and that its order be adopted as advertised and read. So moved.
Councilors, you've heard the motion from Councilor Turco. On the motion, seeing none, roll call.
Councilors Gould.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Gamache. Turco.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Council. And just to be clear, it is a 56% reimbursement. The Welch School is a little bit of a higher reimbursement than the 56% because of the needs of that school. So I just want to make sure we're clear. It's 56% reimbursement, which I believe is $339,000 that we'd be funding on our own. The second item,
Thank you, Mr.
and thank you
Mayor.
for that support.
Yep, second item on the agenda, bond order, Phase 2, rehabilitation of Central Street in an amount of $1 million. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And this is a project I think all of you are very familiar with or aware of. Very exciting. This has been going on since 2017 when we received our project eligibility notice that we were eligible for nearly $10 million in funding to do a rehabilitation of the Central Street corridor. It'll be a tremendous project. Going to be some significant work that's going to be disruptive, but it is on path now for next year. 2023, which is very exciting. I did want to read one paragraph just to kind of make sure you're all aware of what the project entails. The project involves the rehabilitation of pavement and sidewalk along Central Street from the Walnut Street intersection, the Central Street, Endicott Street, Andover Street, and Pulaski Street intersections, and also Pulaski Street from its intersection to Buxton Lane. The cross-section will be improved to include a 5-foot bicycle lane in each direction throughout the project and a 7-foot or 8-foot on-street parking lane along the west side of Central Street. Along the corridor, cement concrete sidewalks will be constructed to include ADA-compliant wheelchair ramps and vertical granite curbing. Drainage improvements, including new catch basins, manholes, and reinforced concrete pipe, will be added throughout the project corridor. The existing water main will be replaced. The signal at Central Street and Walnut Street will be retained, but the signal timing will be updated. The signal at Central Street and Warren Street will be replaced and will be extended to include Tremont Street, which I think is going to have a significant effect over in that area, which has always been a grave safety concern. The two offset streets will have coordinated timing, acting as one intersection. The intersection of Central Street, Endicott Street, and Andover Street and Pulaski Street will be replaced, as well as the intersection of Pulaski Street, Gardner Street, and Pound Lane. But really, this project will completely overhaul the Central Street corridor from Walnut Street to Wilson Square, including new road surface, fully accessible sidewalks, crosswalks, and traffic signals, and modern landscape and design amenities. It will improve access, aesthetics, traffic flow, and improve the safety and quality of life of tens of thousands of Peabody residents. That area, as all of you know, touches our downtown Central Corridor area as well as the East End. So significant project that's going to, I think, make a huge difference for our community. However, they are not funding certain aspects of the project. We need to pay for water piping improvements, mainline installation, and some additional costs for the 75% design, some easement work, and some attorney work. There's a bunch of easements that we're going to have to obtain from the property owners in that area, and it's going to come at a cost to us in order to obtain those easements and the attorney work and title work necessary to get those easements, as well as doing some of the work we're required to do. Since we're going to be tearing up that road and doing the work, it only makes sense to do some improvements and some installation of new piping in that area. And some of that is not covered by the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Project that we've been approved for by Mass DOT. So this is a funding request for that, to continue that work, do the necessary work we need to do over this year, particularly the legal aspects of this work for this project, and happy to answer any questions moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Questions to the committee? Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayor, thank you. I personally am very excited about this because I travel that road 2 or 3 times a day. And just the intersection of Wilson Square alone is going to be a major improvement. There's a Sparrow Lane extension that comes out into Wilson Square, and I can't wait to see how that's going to be configured. I had a question. A lot of neighbors, because of COVID, a lot of neighbors haven't had the opportunity to get updated. Is there any more informative meetings coming, or can we do something? Or I don't know if we're beyond that now, but.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think we're required to have a public hearing, but even if we weren't, I think it's the right thing to do, to have a neighborhood meeting. The first one we had, it was obviously pre-COVID. We had a huge turnout over at the Teregian Senior Center, so I suggest we do that do that again, and I can coordinate with Councilor Peach and all of you to come up with a date that makes sense, maybe when we're past this surge, and maybe in the spring have that type of meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No further questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Gould. And as you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, I think it's a requirement of the process. So there was one at the earlier design phase beyond the one that the mayor made reference to, which was on Zoom. But you're 100% correct, Councilor Gould, that more information is better to the residents. Questions from other committee members? Questions from other councilors? Seeing no other questions, just comment from me along the lines of what Councilor Gould said. I'm very excited for this project. It's been in the planning stage for many years. It's great to know that we're actually getting to deep into the design phase. It's going to be a important project for Ward 2, more so for Ward 3, but the corridor spans both, of course, and had an eye on this for quite some time, as I know has Councilor Rossignol. I'm also very supportive of the approach that your administration is taking, DPS is taking with this, to make sure we're doing this in a holistic approach, doing the water line work and everything, as we've done in conjunction with other projects around the city, so that we're not looking back at this a few years down the line and digging it up again. So that makes complete sense. It's going to cost a little more up front, but it's going to pay for itself over the long run. So couldn't be happier about the progress on this and fully supportive of it. And with that, Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As advertised, be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Peabody that the City of Peabody appropriate the amount of $1 million for the purpose of paying costs and upgrades to the Wilson Square intersection, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto. To meet this appropriation, the City Treasurer is authorized to borrow said amount under Mass General Laws 4477 or pursuant to any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the city, therefore, that any premium received upon the sale of any bonds or notes may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this vote in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 20, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs in a like amount, and that this order will be adopted as advertised and read. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Councilors, you heard the motion of Councilor Gould. On the motion, seeing none, roll call.
Councilors Gould.
Yes.
Manning Martin. Gamache. Turco.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
This time
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I entertain a motion to adjourn. Councilors, you heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. We are adjourned.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 5 4 3 2 1. Test, test.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Committee of the Whole. Tonight, we're joined by all councilors, and I would entertain a motion to convene into an executive session to discuss pending litigation regarding 40 Oak Street.
So moved, Mr.
employee,
President.
not done yet. Employee post-arbitration settlement, and any other matters before the committee. Councilor Gould? Thank you, Councilor Gould. We're going to take a roll call on that?
To return to open session?
Yes, and to return to open session. Thank you, Councilor.
Councilors Gould. Rozignol.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Peach. Yes. Welton.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Gamache. Turco.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
All right, councilors, we're back in open session. Can I get a motion to adjourn? We heard the motion from Councilor Gamache. All in favor? Any opposed? As a vote, we're adjourned. All right, good evening. I'd like to call to order the Peabody City Council for our meeting to be held on Thursday, January 27th at 7:30 p.m. for the purpose of discussing any and all business via in-person and remote participation in accordance with Chapter 48 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 20A, B, and C of the Acts of 2021, signed into law by Governor Baker on June 16th, 2021. Alternative public access to this meeting shall be provided in the following manner. 1, this meeting is being televised live by Peabody Access Television on cable channel 9. 2, real-time public comment during public hearings can be addressed to the Peabody City Council using the Zoom virtual meeting software for remote access. Users may view the meeting and make comment or question to the chair via the audio option. Please visit www.peabody-ma.gov for Zoom information. This meeting is being taped by Peabody Access Television and is also being recorded by the City Council stenographer. Let's rise for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. You heard the motion from Councilor Gould for approval of the record. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. We're going to begin with our special permit hearings. Item 4A. The clerk will read the public notice.
Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Peabody, acting as the special permit granting authority, will conduct a public hearing on Thursday evening, January 27th, 2022, at 7:30 p.m. in the Frank L. Wigan Auditorium, 24 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass., and remotely via Zoom on the application from Jermaine Anderson, care of Loyal Canines, LLC, 147 Summit Street, Unit 6, Peabody, Mass., for a special permit requesting to amend Special Permit 13-2016, specifically to delete conditions 1, 2, and 3 at said 147 Summit Street, Unit 6, Peabody, Mass. Is filed in accordance with Sections 4.2.5, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance. For remote participation using the Zoom platform, please visit www.peabody-ma.gov under City Calendar on the homepage or contact the City Clerk's office. Zoom information will not be available until the Friday before the meeting. Peabody City Council, Allison M. Danforth, City Clerk.
Would the applicant let us know what he wants to do?
My name is Jay Stevens. I'm from Middleton, Mass. I am the general manager of Loyal Canines. I've been with this company for 8 years, and I've had the pleasure to see the company grow and participate with that growth. Our intent here is to expand our business now that the City of Peabody is our home. Recently, we have consolidated both of our facilities, one from Peabody, which we closed in August of 2021. So in Peabody here, our facility is much bigger. We have the space to accommodate all of our growth plans. We are looking to expand our business also, and we are looking to change some of our conditions in our special permit so that we can expand. And that's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody in the audience here to speak in favor? Anybody here to speak in favor? Anybody on the Zoom to speak in favor? I don't see any. Anybody in the audience here to speak against? To speak in opposition? Anybody on there in opposition? I don't see anybody on opposition on Zoom. Councilor Walton?
If I could request through you to the clerk, it looks like the owner of the business may be trying to join on Zoom.
He's in. He just needs to unmute himself. I think he just did so.
Okay, and I believe he wanted to speak in favor of and give any background as well, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Ms. Jermaine, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you, Council, for having us. I'm Jermaine Anderson, owner of Loyal Canines, and we've been servicing the community for many years, and we've had the pleasure of being part of the Peabody community for the last 5 years, and now that Peabody is our home, it's really important, for us to be able to, get this expansion so that we can offer, all of our services to all of our customers, servicing the community, not just locally, but also from different states. And this would certainly continue to create, more jobs for, the economy, the community as well, with our growth. And we're excited about this opportunity. We've got the space for it. It's a great location. It's like I said before, it's been a pleasure. I've worked with, our company has worked with, many of the city officials for many years. And, when we moved into Peabody, we had recommendations, from the mayor of Beverly as well, just from the work that we've done, in Beverly for many, many years. And so we thank you again for the opportunity to be here and assisting, us with our business and with our growth opportunities. And if there's any questions we can answer for you, either myself or Jay, we'll be more than happy to.
Thank you. Council Walton.
Thank you, Mr. President. As both Jay and Jermaine have stated, their intention is to expand their operation here in Peabody. I learned through this process in speaking with both Jermaine and Jay that their location in Beverly, they've decided to make the move to close that location in Beverly and consolidate into Peabody more robustly because they have the space to do so here. I do want to, before we jump into this, many of you will recall this was initially on the agenda for January 13th. There's a miscommunication that I take blame for in terms of not best explaining to the petitioner that we needed to have presence here. So I apologize to the council. I appreciate your patience with that, and I thank the general manager from Loyal Canines for joining us this evening. In my discussion with the business owner and the general manager, the request for the removal of the first three conditions of their special permit, which was granted in 2016, I initially had concern just because the request was to remove those conditions outright. Through speaking with the parties, it was clear to me that they were just hoping to get some relief from those conditions, and we're open to the discussion with how best to pursue that. So where we landed in our discussion back and forth was with condition 1, which states no more than 20 dogs to be housed overnight. They were hoping to expand that to include 40 dogs to be housed overnight. Condition 2, no more than 50 dogs on the premises at any time. The request would be to increase that to 85. And condition 3, they are fine with removing that request to amend that condition. Essentially, when I spoke to Jermaine, he was hoping that there might be an opportunity to use some remote monitoring so that if a staff member needed to go get dinner or whatever, that they'd have that opportunity. But I explained to him that my concern was that if we're looking at potentially increasing the number of dogs that would be on premises, that I would be uncomfortable with removing that condition, to which he understood and said was willing to remove that from his request. I did have an opportunity to tour the facility with Jay, the general manager. Found it to be very clean. The dogs clearly very well cared for. And it was abundantly clear to me that they do have the space within that current building. I also learned that their long-term goals are to continue to build out that space. Jermaine had disclosed to me that he had worked with the city for a small business loan, which he's paid off, and is looking to possibly look at that process again to further expand. The landlord at that location has also made clear to him that there is an opportunity for them to expand their square foot print there. So with that, I found the request to increase the housed dogs overnight to a maximum of 40, and then a maximum of 85 dogs on premises at any time to be reasonable. And I would certainly open it up to any counselors for either questions to myself or the petitioner. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Council Welton. Any questions from the council? Councilor Gould and Council Rosenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, excuse me. So Councilor Welton, through you, Mr. President, to Councilor Welton. So condition 1 is moved to 40. We're fine with that. Condition 2 is moved to 85. We're fine with that. Or I should say I'm fine with that. And number 3 is there will be a person on site? Okay. Thank you, Councilor Welton. Thank you, Mr. President.
And Councilor Gould, Councilor Rosenthal, and Councilor Manning.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Councilor Welton. I know you said that the square footage was ample. What is the square footage of the facility?
Thank you, Councilor Rosenthal. If you can indulge me just for a moment, I'll have to pull it back up. But I do want to make mention, I spoke to Sharon Cameron's office, because for me, I was curious as to if there's a standard square footage per dog that you would, and I think this might be what you're getting at. There is no standard square footage per dog, but I will also introduce the late communication from Sharon Cameron, which we accepted at the initial meeting on January 13th, which outlined her sort of standard for making sure that there's enough room to accommodate each of the dogs. So I can read that, and I will look for the square footage. If you don't mind, I just don't want to keep you waiting as I'm looking up the actual square footage. Or if Jay, if you might be able to speak to that.
know.
Yes, thank you. As of right now, we have 6,000 square feet. And we have, I'm not sure the exact, I don't want to speculate, but we do have outside space as of right now. So we have an indoor-outdoor facility. But inside where they are housed and where they sleep, it is 6,000 square footage of there.
All right, thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Just following up on that, Councilor?
Yep, and just to remind the council and to clarify, Councilor Rosenthal, the feedback from Ms. Cameron was facility must be of sufficient size and design as to allow an animal to stand, sit, lie down, turn around, and make other normal postural adjustments without obstruction, interference, or impediment by the presence of food, water bowls, equipment, or other animals. So that's really the best that we can get in terms of what the standard would be. I do know also, in speaking with Jay and the business owner Jermaine, that they use best practices through American Kennel Club and the other, sort of standard, I guess, I don't want to say best in show, but best standard for the treatment of dogs in such a facility.
Thank you, Councilor Welton. Councilor Manning Martin?
We all set? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I'm glad that you removed the request to have no employees on the site at any time. Could you tell me how many employees you have? I know we're talking about square footage per dog, but what's the standard for staff per dog? Because I'm really stuck on the fact that you didn't want to have staff overnight or even leave the dogs unattended to run out and get lunch. I'm really concerned about the dogs.
Thank you. So during the day, that's the bulk of our business. So we have 13 employees as of right now. I could be 1 or 2 off. We just did some new hiring, so I'm trying to remember all the exact numbers, but anywhere from 11 to 13, I would say conservatively, for employees. At nighttime, we typically have anywhere from 10 to like 14 dogs that stay over. Certain times of the year, holidays usually bring a little bit more business. School vacations, summertime, things of that nature. We do have full surveillance of our facility, inside and outside. I have direct feed myself, Jermaine does. We are hardwired to police and fire is all right there. That whole building is completely like a Fort Knox in a sense, if that helps with your with your question.
A little bit. The remote, not really. How many, if you want to go up to 40 dogs overnight?
With the potential, that would be a potential number, so if we ever did get to that point.
And how
then we
many
would-
staff would you have on overnight per dog?
If I had exactly 40 dogs, I'd like to see two, three people at any given time. Now, these dogs aren't playing overnight, so they're all in their individual spaces.
crates, right?
Yeah. Not crates. We have kennel runs, which
Kennel
are
runs,
4 foot
okay.
by 6 foot tall. We also have double runs, which are 8 feet by 16 feet. And we have triple runs if some dogs, say you have 3 dogs in your family and you want them to sleep together, we have enough space for them to be able to play and
So if you were to
and
have
sleep.
up to 85 dogs, that just seems like a lot of dogs. How many staff will you have if you had 85 dogs?
Can I chime in?
Yep, Jermaine, we can take your, yep.
Yeah, so I appreciate your question. So our business, being the fact that we're a training school, I just want to make it clear that, we have many different services where we wouldn't have 85 dogs all participating in the same service, where, in a traditional, dog daycare, you might find a very large group of dogs, all together, but that's not how we operate. We have dogs that are there for specific purposes where they're not participating potentially, in a play group. Some dogs are being walked, some dogs, are being trained. Other dogs, might, there are different smaller, our play groups are also, smaller as well, where we're not going to have more than say, 15 dogs, in a play group at any given time, where we've been in this business for many, many years. And we realize that, dogs are just like people, they don't all get along. So it's very important to, to realize that and to make sure that the safety is the number one thing. And with that being said, our staff is extremely well trained in the fact that we have extremely talented dog trainers that not only from day one, each dog, is evaluated to make sure that, if whatever program that they're participating in, especially if it is dog daycare, that they have the temperament where they're not going to be a liability. And I think that's what sets us apart, is that our trainers are talented enough to realize that, and then they continue to train our staff, and knowing what to look for to keep the dogs safe. So, if we do have, 85 dogs, on premise at any given time, which that would be it's not something that's going to be on a daily basis. And the reason why, as I said before, we're looking to be able to expand is because when we consolidated our business, we had to say no to, we're consistently saying no to customers, long-term customers that we've serviced for 10 plus years because of the limit that we have. And it's been, frustrating on us, but we go by the book, you know what I mean? So we know that we have a limit, but unfortunately, we've had to say no to many customers where we can't offer the service, that we've been offering many customers for many, many years. But certainly if there is an opportunity where we do have, let's say 80 dogs, and we know that we're growing, number one, we have a reservation system that, accounts for the amount of dogs that we have at our facility at any given time. So it's not like, we're just going to be piling in dogs, every single day. No. Number one, we only allow for so many spots. And the customers, do have to pre-register for these amount of spots. So we know that we have enough staff to take care of, these dogs. So regardless of how we grow, we'll continue to make sure that we have ample amount of staff. Our staff is trained, the way that they are. But also, even just walking into it, I'm sure everybody knows that it's hard to find great people. And in this day and age, everybody's, walking in, I'm just going to be, totally blunt. Everybody wants, $17, $18 an hour. And in order and we're all about, rewarding and promoting within, and we'd love to be able to offer, our staff, ample opportunities and make sure that our customers are going to continue to receive, the the level of expertise and the care that, they're so used to, receiving. But there also comes another side to that. In order to be able to offer that, we have to be able to grow so that we can meet the needs of our customers, but also be able to pay our staff and make sure that we can get, top quality, people as well.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Councilman Martin.
Thank you. I appreciate your response, but limits exist for safety reasons, and I appreciate that you want to expand, but there are limits to expansions, and I think that 85 dogs on the premises, I think that's too much. That number's way too high for me, and 40 dogs overnight may be a little too high for me too. So I just think I understand you want to expand. I'm sure you run a great business, but there gets to be a point where I think there should be a limit on the amount of dogs that you can have at one place, irrespective of the size, due to staffing and the safety of the animals. So thank you.
Councilor Manning Martin, Councilor Turco, and then Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just in reference to Councilor Manning Martin's concerns, I think, that was the first thing that jumped out at me was the overnight. I think probably I could speak for all of you. The first time we saw that they didn't want somebody there overnight, I think we all shared the same concern. So I think that was immediately taken off the table. But as far as the, when I had spoken to Sharon Cameron also, I was shocked to find out that there's nothing in the state law that says, how many dogs that they can have. It's very vague. And then as far as staffing overnight, that's also not required. I don't think you or I or anybody else would send their dog to a place without somebody staffing on the overnight. So I'm glad, Councilor Walton, that you were able to rectify that portion of it. But I just wanted to say that in 2016, I did this permit initially, and for your education, we only had 2 people that spoke against it. We had Mr. Donovan, I should say one. Mr. Donovan spoke against it. I did not reach out to him again. I figured if he had something to add, he would have been here. The other neighborhood that had some concerns, Mr. Brenner showed up, but not against, but just to air some concerns about noise from the Alexandra Street, Travis Terrace area. And I spoke to a few of them, and they have not experienced any problems. As a matter of fact, some of them said they had completely forgot that we had approved the dog facility. So I was happy to hear that the residents, direct abutters, don't have issue at all with this, and I just wanted to let the council know that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Jargo. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Councilor Welton. Councilor Welton, the number 1 from the Health Department submittal that you read, is it your intention to add that now as a condition?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Any other councilors? Seeing none, Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to close public hearing.
You heard the motion from Councilor Welton, close the public hearing. All in favor, any opposed? To vote. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to approve special permit application request, requesting to amend special permit 13-2016, specifically to amend the following conditions as read. Condition 1, no more than 20 dogs to be housed overnight, to be amended to no more than 40 dogs to be housed overnight. Condition 2, no more than 50 dogs on premises at any time, to be amended to no more than 85 dogs on premises at any time. And I would also like to add the following condition from the Public Health Department. The facility must be of sufficient size and design as to allow an animal to stand, sit, lie down, turn around, and make other normal postural adjustments without obstruction, interference, or impediment by the presence of food, water bowls, equipment, or other animals. This is for 147 Summit Street, Unit 6, Peabody, Massachusetts, as filed in accordance with Sections 4.2.5, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance. So moved.
The motion from Council Welton. On the motion, Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Mr. Council Welton. Council, could we just, because you didn't read condition 3, can we just make sure that we state that condition 3 is remaining the same in the health department condition will be condition 4 added to the permit?
Council Welton.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. I will clarify that condition 3 shall remain. Anytime a dog is on property, an employee must be present. Additionally, the previous conditions will also remain on this special permit, so I would like to order, numerically order, the condition from the Health Department to serve as condition number 13, where facility must be of sufficient size and design, et cetera.
On the motion, Councilor McGinn, did you have something?
Just a point of information. You flip the page, I think it's 14, Councilor Welton.
You're correct, Councilor McGinn. Thank you for your clarification. I appreciate that. So to revise that, I would like the condition from the Health Department to be numbered as condition 14.
We have a motion on the floor. Any down to discussion on the motion? Roll call vote.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Rossignol,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
No.
Peach,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Gamache, Turco,
Yes.
Daigle,
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-1.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. On behalf of myself and Loyal Canines, everyone have a great evening.
All right, well, we're going to move on to the next hearing. Hearing B, a Class 2 motor vehicle license transfer. The clerk will read the public notice.
Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Peabody will conduct a public hearing on Thursday evening, January 27th, 2022, at 7:30 p.m. in the Frank L. Wigan Auditorium, 24 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass., and remotely via Zoom on the application from Eagle Point Gas Station, DBA Wilson Square Garage, 8 Andover Street, also known as 2 Andover Street, Peabody, Mass., requesting the transfer of a Class 2 motor vehicle license at said 8 Andover Street, Peabody, Mass. For remote participation using the Zoom platform, please visit www.peabody-ma.gov under City Calendar on the homepage or contact the City Clerk's office. Peabody City Council, Councilor Ryan Melville, City Council President.
Thank you. Would the applicant please let us know what you want to do, and we'll go from there.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Safwat.
I'm sorry, can you state your name and address for the record? I should have.
Yeah, my name is Safwat Al-Odat. My address 199 Washington Street, Hanover, Massachusetts. My business in 2 Andover Street, Peabody. I tried to transfer the dealer license under our company name, Eagle Point Gas Station, and to try to sell cars, to improve our business and to create more opportunity and to hiring more people in our business.
Okay, thank you. Anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor of this applicant? Anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anybody on the Zoom that wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none. Anybody in the audience wish to speak in opposition? Anybody wish to speak in opposition? We don't see anybody on the Zoom that wishes to speak in opposition. Councilor Peach?
Thank you, Mr. President. I briefly spoke with the applicant last week. This is a transfer of license from the existing license holder to the new owner of the Eagle Point Gas Station, also known as Wilson Square Garage. I would like to move to accept late communication 1.
Under suspension of the rules, move to receive, we have a motion to receive a late communication. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote.
Thank you. So I was contacted today by Randy Seckney of the Health Department. There are some code enforcement concerns with this area. I believe he did speak to you as well, just as a as you're a new business owner taking over this parcel of land, this business here. There are concerns. There are no open violations from the health department currently, but there are some concerns of code enforcement that could become an issue if not addressed immediately. So there are, in late communication one, some tires being stored outside, which the Sharon Cameron communicated to us. This causes an issue for standing water, leads to breeding of mosquitoes, could also lead to rodent issues as it's a standing water and location for them to kind of snuggle up and warm themselves. With that being said, I don't have any issues with approving this transfer of permit as long as those issues addressed by the health department are addressed by the applicant.
Thank you, Councilor Peach. Councilor Gould?
Thank you, Mr. President. How you doing? Good, thanks. How long have you owned the business?
6 months.
6 months, okay. The license is to sell 5 cars? How many cars are you allowed to sell?
I think 15 cars.
Through you, Mr. President, to the clerk. Please, Allison.
Their limit is 15,
15?
yes.
Sir, I drive by there every day, twice a day, 3 times a day, and there has been an improvement from prior conditions, but there's still a long way to go to make it an appealing business in a neighborhood. I mean, you have homes that are on each side of you, on Endicott Street and then on the small side street, and I don't know how to be polite and say it, but it's not attractive by any means.
Actually, when we bought the business is totally messed up. But right now, we don't get like revenue from the business to improve the business. We try to clean as much we can, and we have a plan summertime to change all the glass. Yeah, all the glasses in the front, in the garage, and we try to paint the gas station. It's in this summer, next summer, and I see the notice about the tires. The tires actually, we have contract with the Town Fair Tires in Denver. They allowed us to like dump 20 tires a week. But we change more than 20 tires because right now, you know, winter time, all the people try to change the tires, and that's why we're stuck with those tires. But tomorrow or the next week, I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna try to find company, take all the tires away. And what we did, the inspector last time, he gave us a notice, some of the notice tires, we try as much we can, but we change the tires every day, maybe 8, 10 tires, but he gave us notice about the container. We closed the container, we took the sign off, and he asked us to take the flag for the inspection sticker. We took them off, but we can't like fix everything in the limit time. We need time.
Well, Mr. President, if I may.
Councilor Gould.
There is a home that is literally 10 feet from these tires. 50, maybe 20 feet, excuse me, 10 yards maybe from those tires. There's got to be 60 tires there. And I have to come out of my home into my car and look at that every day. And, you know, whether you say Town Fair Tire is going to come and pick them up, well, if they don't pick them up, you're still responsible for doing something with them.
Actually, I'm gonna tomorrow talk with the manager in Town Fair Tire, or I can like find a company to take all the tires the same day. Today, Thursday, next Monday, if the inspector has come back, he's not gonna see any tires, even any tires, 0 tires.
Well, because the inspector came is the only reason you're reacting to him, but where do you intend to park your 15 cars that are going to be for sale on the lot?
Now, we'll give him the map, Actually, I don't have like too much information, but we give him the map. I think I gave him the map where we can park all the
I'm
cars.
sorry, Allison, can you?
Council Gould, just that he's referring to the map, the parking plan he provided, which we have, it's in the packet.
It's in the original packet? Oh, yeah, okay, okay. Thank you, Councilor Manning.
Are you all set, Council Gould?
No,
or-
I'm not,
okay.
thank you. I'd be shocked if you were able to even navigate through that maze of cars with 15 spots occupied by cars for sale. That leaves a narrow driveway for cars to come out and go onto Endicott Street. I don't support this at this time because I don't think that we have a handle, that this gentleman has a handle on how to improve the lot and how to be a good neighbor. This is directly, as I said, directly abuts ample houses both on Endicott Street and in the side street. So at this point, I can't support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Gould. Councilor Manning Martin, and then will be Council Gamache.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to reinforce what Council Gould and Councilor Peach are saying. And I want this gentleman to know, just prior to you coming up here for this transfer, the city has authorized a total of, in increments, of $2.5 million to improve and rehabilitate that square, Central Street, Endicott Street, Pulaski Street. $2 million we're committing to that and renovating the whole thing. It is a gateway to our city. It cannot look like this. So I commend Councilor Peach, and I also want to remind folks that Randy Stuckney, our code enforcement officer, now I know it wasn't you, you've only been there 6 months, but if you recall, he was treated so shabbily that when we had to have a show cause hearing because Mr. Stuckney was trying to get rid of all the cars that were at an illegal shop at, I think it was 9 Endicott Street, which abuts this. That the owner of your gas station owns that house as well. So Mr. Stuckney was not treated well when he was trying to clean this up, and it was probably about 2 years ago. So it's been an ongoing issue that you're walking into. But that doesn't mean it's not your issue. And that doesn't mean that the place came with the tires, so you aren't going to get rid of the tires. That doesn't mean your dumpster's overflowing. You don't have to take care of that because it came that way. So I think you need to understand, and I think Councilor Gould hit it on the head, I don't think it's resonating with you the importance of running a nice, clean business down there. And we're going to hold you to that, and we're going to make sure that all these issues that Mr. Stuckney has pointed out very clearly needs to be done, should be done before the transfer of the license. And I think that that is the only way that we are going to ensure that you get that done, okay? $2.5 million this city is committing to cleaning up that area because we care about that area, we care about the residents, and we care about the image of the city. And we want you to succeed, so we want you to understand how strongly we feel about your shop and where it is in that area. So I'm with Councilor Gould, but I'm open to any suggestions from other councilors. Maybe Councilor Peach can work with you, and we can bring this back. But you need to address these issues to our satisfaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Manning Martin. Councilor Gamache, and then Councilor Turco.
Thank you. To the petitioner, we're here to try to help you better your business. We're trying to work with you to understand exactly what the other councils have said. I believe that you will fix this property. I honestly believe that you now are put on notice that there's a lot of work to do. I have two suggestions for you, and I would hope that Councilor Peach would agree with me. The first one being that you withdraw this request without prejudice and come back before us when your facility is better represented, so that we feel that you are working with the council to improve the site. That would be my first recommendation. The second recommendation is, if we continue this, you'll only have 90 days to fix up the property. And with it being winter, I highly doubt that you're going to be able to get it done by April. So my suggestion to you would be to withdraw without prejudice. You can come back. You still got the license. Donnie still has the license. We can transfer it whenever you need it. But Councilor Peach, Councilor Manning, Councilor Gould, they've all got serious questions as to whether or not this is a viable transfer based on the way the property looks. So, and I couldn't support it tonight either. So that would be my suggestion to you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache.
Yeah, actually, the tires tomorrow or the day after, I think a storm coming Friday. I mean, tomorrow or Monday, we're gonna clean all the tires. I mean, about the trash, the problem with the company to pick up the trash, and I think before 2 weeks, we get the call from the Peabody City Hall. They say maybe it's gonna be late because there's shortage of employees. It's not our fault, what we can do about the trash. I don't know when he take the trash, but today they came like in the afternoon, they take the trash. Right now the trash is empty, dumpster. And the tires, I think Monday, we're gonna clean all the tires. 100% we're gonna clean all the tires. And that's what I can do, what I can say.
Thank you. Councilor Gamache, did you?
Again, we're trying to work with you. We're trying to make this workable. Yes, you can get rid of the tires.
Mr. President, can I request a 2-minute recess?
Fine.
Councilor.
I agree to that. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yep.
Thank you.
We're back.
I would
Councilor Gamache, you have the floor.
I would turn the floor over to Council Peach.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. Councilor Peach.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. I move to continue this hearing to the next city council meeting.
I heard the motion from Councilor Peach. We did have two other councilors, Turco and Daigle, that wanted to speak. Are you good? Okay. So right now we have a motion on the floor to continue. Do you want to?
I'll yield to Councilor Daigle.
Okay, so we're going to withdraw that motion for now. You can ask what you need to do, and then we'll go back to the motion to continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will be quick, and I echo the fellow councilors' concerns, and we do want to see this gentleman succeed in his business. But if you are coming back, I did notice that there's some delinquent taxes for the real estate second quarter, that if you're coming back, I'd like to see those taxes being paid and made whole. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Daigle. Okay, Councilor Peach, you had a motion to recess this public hearing to February 10th. Is that your intent?
Yes.
All right, we heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. All right, we're going to recess this until February 10th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Our next hearing is item 4C. It's an entertainment license for Bancroft NS LLC, Double Bull Tap House. The clerk will read the public notice.
Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Peabody will conduct a public hearing on Thursday evening, January 27th, 2022, at 7:30 p.m. in the Frank L. Wigan Auditorium, 24 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass., and remotely via Zoom on the application from Bancroft NS LLC, DBA Double Bull Tap House, 210 Andover Street, Unit F100B, Peabody, Mass., requesting an entertainment license for non-live entertainment and live entertainment at said 210 Andover Street, Peabody, Mass. For remote participation using the Zoom platform, please visit www.peabody-ma.gov under City Calendar on the homepage or contact the City Clerk's office. Peabody City Council, Councilor Ryan Melville, City Council President.
Thank you. And could you state your name and address for the record, and then just tell us a little about what you're trying to do?
My name is Josh Weber. I live at 3 Aaron's Way in Hamilton, Massachusetts, and I own the Double Bull Tap House, which is at 210 Andover Street, which is the mall. I'm here simply to apply for or hopefully get a entertainment license approved for the restaurant. I'm seeking to do indoor entertainment only, and specifically looking for live music and possibly a trivia night scenario.
Thank you. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of this applicant? Anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anybody in the audience wish to speak in opposition? Seeing none on the Zoom either. Councilor Daigle.
Welcome. Thank you for deciding to do business in Peabody, and this is, I think, a pretty standard application, and we would love to see you succeed. So I have no objections. I think the mall in this area is designed to do exactly what you're doing, so I have no objections unless any of my fellow councilors do.
Thank you, Councilor Daigle. Any other councilors? Seeing none. I think this is a great thing. We need live music up in that area. I think it's definitely a business opportunity. Councilor Daigle.
Motion to close the public hearing?
You heard the motion from Councilor Daigle, close the public hearing. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Daigle.
I move to approve the entertainment license for non-live entertainment and live entertainment at 210 Andover Street, Peabody, Massachusetts, for Double Bull Tap House. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Daigle. You heard the motion. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould.
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Kamara.
Yes.
Turco.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Good luck. Thank you. All right. Moving on to hearing D, special permit, and the clerk will read the public notice.
Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Peabody, acting as the special permit granting authority, will conduct a public hearing on Thursday evening, January 27th, 2022, at 7:30 p.m. in the Frank L. Wigan Auditorium, 24 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass., and remotely via Zoom on the application from Endri Kume, OBO Albanian Community Center, care of 125 Washington Street, Peabody, Mass., for a special permit to operate a community, cultural, and recreational center as a not-for-profit corporation in a GBD zoning district at 26 Holly Street, Peabody, Mass., as filed in accordance with sections 4.2.5, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance. For remote participation using the Zoom platform, please visit www.peabody-ma.gov under City Calendar on the homepage or contact the City Clerk's office. Peabody City Council, Councilor Ryan Melville, City Council President.
Thank you. Would the applicant please state the name and address for the record and give us a summary of what you're looking to do?
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is John Kelty. I'm an attorney. I have offices at 40 Lowell Street here in Peabody, Massachusetts. I appear on behalf of Andrei Kume, on behalf of the Albanian Community Center of 125 Washington Street, Peabody, Mass. This property is located at the corner of Howley and Walnut Street. It is owned by the Flomp family. We are seeking to occupy about 2,000 square feet of that building and create a Albanian cultural and recreational center. The corporation, whose actual name is, the accountants actually formed the corporation 2 or 3 days after I made my application. If the council were to issue this permit, we would respectfully ask that the permit issue to the Albanian Boston Community, Inc. We have my clients currently, they are incorporated. It will be a nonprofit, and my clients are hopeful of locating a community and cultural center here at 26 Howley Street in Peabody, Mass. As I've stated, they would occupy approximately 2,000 square feet. There is no kitchen. There is no plan for food on the premises, but for food that might be brought in by delivery. The fire department has indicated that if we were to operate a kitchen, the fire department would say we would have to, that kitchen would have to be designed to meet the fire code standards as well. We would need to meet Board of Health regulations. That's certainly known to us. I do know also that the Board of Health filed with the City Council a series of reports that historically arose out of some contaminated air or complaints about air quality. My clients are very familiar with that. When I offered them all of the reports that were given to the council, they indicated that they had seen them all and explained to me why they had seen them. They were given to them by the Flomp family, and they've been able to review those, and they're aware of them and remain adamant about moving forward. The property has 46 existing spaces. My client just yesterday and today has worked with the owner to consolidate some of the trash collection and change the standard in which people are changed so that there's a consolidation of the trash services, and the dumpsters that are currently multiple on the property will be replaced by parking spaces, and there will be a smaller space devoted to the dumpsters. At current moment, our membership is technically only 6 people. There are my clients that are with me this evening, and 4 or 5 other people who are forming and moving forward with this plan to create the cultural center. We're asking for hours of operation. There is no present intent to serve alcohol on the premises. My clients have reached out to the management of the Holy Ghost and discussed the Holy Ghost, our adjacent property, how parking will be handled on our facility, and that there would be no expectation of any of our overflow or any of our traffic at all utilizing the Holy Ghost property. We have asked for certain of our hours of operation. We've asked for Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 1 a.m., and we also indicated that we were asking for 8 a.m. on Sunday to 10 p.m. We would like to respectfully request that the council let us go to 1 a.m. On Sunday. Reason for that is that the membership that seems to be moving forward to want to belong, there is a very high percentage of that membership and those people who are actually in the food industry, and as such, on the weekends they get out of work a little later, and if they were to seek to have a place to unwind and play some pool or cards and just communicate and network, they would like those additional hours to be available to them. Councilor Peach has reached out to us. We've had an opportunity to speak with the councilor. We are amenable to a condition that would suggest if the council were to grant us this special permit, we would be very amenable to the idea of needing to come back if we were to add alcohol to this endeavor. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions that the board may have, the council may have, and my clients are here this evening and would be happy as well to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody in the audience that wish to speak in favor of this applicant? Anybody on the Zoom that wish to speak in favor? Seeing none. Anybody in the audience wish to speak in opposition? Wish to speak in opposition? None on Zoom either. Councilor Peach? The application says Ward 2.
It's Ward 3.
It's Ward 3, okay. Yeah, all right. Councilor Peach?
Thank you, Mr. President. I did have an opportunity to meet with the applicant and their attorney. I think this is a great thing to bring to Peabody. There's a large Albanian community here already, which is continuing to grow. So for them to have a space to gather, to network, I hear they drink a lot of coffee, and be able to have that space for them and grow this membership. And speaking with the applicant, the closest community center to them, I believe, is in Worcester. So this is an opportunity to bring something like this to the North Shore. We have such a large Albanian community. So with that, I would, as Attorney Kelty said, add a provision to this that no alcohol is to be on site, so that if the applicant in the future wishes to apply for a liquor license, they would need to come back to amend their special permit, at which time I believe we'd probably want to amend their hours as well. So with that, I'll turn it to the councilors if they have any questions.
Thank you, Councilor Peach. Councilor Gould?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Councilor Peach, for commenting. Attorney Kelty, could you please tell me, 26 is the doorway across from the Peabody Glass Company? Is that the address, the front door?
That's the building.
Where's the front door? What are they-
Front door, I think, is on Walnut Street in terms of every time I've been in that building.
In the parking lot?
Yeah, it's on the parking lot.
So who paid for the extensive air quality test?
Owner of the property.
He did. It's extensive. There are some findings, but I mean, I would assume the health department got to look at this also.
They sent them to us, yes.
They sent them to, okay.
They sent the reports to us and to the council simultaneously, and the Flomp family, the owners of the property, had shared them at the outset with my clients.
Okay. Jack, the parking lot is in disarray. Is there any opportunity for the family to fix that up for these folks? There's fences that are somewhat collapsing. There's chain links that are ripped apart.
Yes.
It's not very eye appealing.
Correct.
Okay. As long as
I agree with you.
Okay.
Yes, there is an opportunity, and I think that as the Flomps are able to realize some profit, if you will, or some money generated, they'll be able to in turn invest more money. My client has met with the other tenants in the property And that's how they, with the owner, are endeavoring to work together to improve the general appearance and to create a little more parking rather than those dumpsters, and at the same time, repair those fences.
Thank you, Attorney Kelty. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Council Gould. Council Rosenthal?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Council Kilty. Just to be crystal clear, your clients are well aware of the air quality issues that are in that building, and they still want to move forward.
Very much so.
Thank you. And then my other question is through you, Council President, to Councilor Peach. Hearing Councilor Kelty changing the hours of operation on Sunday, are you amendable to those changes? Thank you.
I was looking to hear from the fellow councilors to see where you all stand on the hours. As far as abutters, there's very minimal for this space. I don't see an issue with it, and if issues arise in the future, would have the applicant return.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rosenthal. Councilor Welton?
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, I think this is great. I think we do have, as Councilor Peach mentioned, a vibrant Albanian community here, and I'm glad that they've chosen Peabody to move forward with this project. I did have just a couple questions. If I understand correctly, I know there's no sale of alcohol, there's no consumption of alcohol allowed with the, okay, great. Thanks for clearing that up. And then is there going to be any sale of food? I know we discussed that there'll be an opportunity to bring food, for events and things like that, but will they be selling food?
No.
Okay. No selling of coffee or anything?
Will be coffee available at the premises, but it will not be a...
Just curious as far as if it was going to be set up.
So you can get free coffee at the Albanian Center.
Just curious as far as retail capacity, but that's totally fine. Is this going to be a private club? Similar to, we have some other cultural clubs in town.
Is it going to be
like
a what?
A private membership club?
Yes.
Okay. And then I don't particularly have any issues with the hours. I would defer to Councilor Peach having it be in her ward. But just out of curiosity, is the hours requested, are they in line with what the Holy Ghost currently has for hours? Being that they're...
I believe very much so, yes.
Okay. That's it. No further questions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Walton. Councilor Turco?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Councilor Kelty. Council, would your client be willing to come up and introduce himself to us so that in case we see him in the neighborhood, we can say hello, and would that be okay?
Sure.
Sure, come on up. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
So my name is Andrew Kume, and I'm one of the founding members. This is Ardi Bochova, also one of the founding members. He lives at 125 Washington Street. We're very excited about this. We ask for the support because there's a huge Albanian community in Peabody, and it's 6 of us that started to build this. And the reason that we did this is that we found ourselves going to Holy Ghost all the time. All of our people used to go there at Holy Ghost, and then one of the members goes, "Why can't we do our own? How difficult it is." And then we put together our minds, and we found out that, okay, if we put the finances together and we consult with the attorney, consult with the city, and found a place. It took us 3 years to find the place. We looked at Salem, Beverly. I went to college in Salem, so once we found Holy Street, we looked at it. The property is very well located. There is plenty of parking spot. So, and it's in the heart of Peabody. That's where most of the Albanians live, and it's walking distance. So we thought that it was a pretty good location. In terms of the hours of operation, as the attorney stated, it's most of our, we expect a lot of the people that are going to come there work in the food industry. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those are the busiest days, and they get out of work late. It's a place to unwind, a place to get together, discuss politics, and all that stuff. When it comes to consumption of coffee, yeah, we're going to have coffee there. We are built a big culture that we would like to sit down and have coffee. Some cultures like to sit down and have beer and stuff, but we love coffee. And having a place to just put the community together, I think it's a start. We still don't know how this is gonna transpire, but we have seek feedback from the community, and we think that we have a lot of support. The other things, one of the questions was, are we gonna serve food? No, we don't wanna serve food. The reason that we don't wanna serve food is some of our members, they actually own restaurants in Peabody. So we wanna support those restaurants and we wanna buy the food there if we're gonna consume food in the premises. So if one of the members wants to go at Gallonero and buy a pizza, he can come and eat it there. Dumpsters, we talked to all of the other owners, and we want to consolidate because we want to make the property look better for our members and welcoming. So we want to keep it clean and have as many parking spots as possible. So we're going to try to do something nice. That's the way to put it for our community.
Thank you. Councilor Turco, you still have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you came up and spoke. In hindsight, you probably didn't need that guy, the attorney, to help you. But I intend on supporting it. I wish you the best of luck. Glad to have you in the neighborhood, and I like coffee also, so I might be part Albanian. But thank you.
Any other councilors? Seeing none, Councilor Peach.
Move to close the public hearing.
Heard the motion from Councilor Peach to close the public hearing. All in favor? Any opposed? To vote? Councilor Peach.
Move to approve the special permit for the Albanian Boston Community, Inc. Did I get that right, Jack? To operate a community cultural and recreational center as a not-for-profit corporation in a GBD zoning district at 26 Halley Street, Peabody, Mass., as filed in accordance with sections 2.25, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance. I'd also like to add a condition that no alcohol be sold or consumed on premises.
You heard the motion from Councilor Peach. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call vote. The clerk has just informed me that you might want to reiterate the closing time on Sunday because that wasn't included in the application. It was an update that was done here.
Thank you.
I believe it was 1 a.m. on Sunday.
Yes, for the operating hours to be Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. and 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Sunday.
Thank you, Councilor Peach. You heard the motion, and then we're going to do a roll call on the motion.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Manning Martin. Peach.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Turco.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
You councilors?
Thank you. Good luck. All right, moving on to reports of committee. Councilor McGinn, Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee of the City Council met earlier this evening. Present for the committee were Councilors Gamache, Gould, Manning, Martin, Turco, and myself as chair. All other city councilors were present. There were 2 items on the agenda. First item was a bond order for the gymnasium roof at the West Memorial School in an amount of $688,398. This was presented to the committee by Mayor Betancourt. Also present were Director of Finance, Mr. Gingras, and Purchasing Agent, Mr. Doucette. It was explained that the bond order was for the maximum amount, but that it would be reimbursable in a significant percentage back to the city, so that the city's share will be approximately $338,922, the balance being picked up by the MSBA. That led to a motion by Councilor Turco, which I will now read. Peabody City Council City of Peabody, Mass. Bond order for west school roof replacement. Be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Peabody that the City of Peabody appropriate the amount of $688,398 for the purpose of paying costs of replacement of the gymnasium roof at the West Memorial School, 15 Bow Street, Peabody, Mass. 01960, including a payment of all costs incidental and related thereto. The project, which proposed a repair project, would materially extend the useful life of the school and preserve an asset that otherwise is capable of supporting the required educational program and for which the City of Peabody may be eligible for a grant from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, MSBA. Said amount to be expended under the direction of the City of Peabody. To meet this appropriation, the City Treasurer is authorized to borrow said amount under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, that any premium received upon the sale of any bonds or notes may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this vote in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 20, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs in like amount. The City of Peabody acknowledges the MSBA's grant program is non-entitlement discretionary program based on need as determined by the MSBA, and that any project costs that the City of Peabody incurs in excess of any grant approved by and received from the MSBA shall be the sole responsibility of the City of Peabody, provided further that any grant the City of Peabody may receive from the MSBA for the project shall not exceed the lesser amount of 1/54 7/900% of eligible approved project cost as determined by the MSBA, or 2, the maximum grant amount determined by the MSBA, and the amount of borrowing authority pursuant to this vote shall be reduced by any grant amount set forth in the project funding agreement that may be executed between the City of Peabody and the MSBA, and that this order be adopted as advertised and read. Mr. President, that motion passed the Finance Committee unanimously with a vote of 5-0, and I now bring it to consideration of the full council. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. You heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Gould.
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Manning Martin. Yes. Peach.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Turco.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
McGinn?
Thank you, Mr. President. The second item on the agenda was a bond order for Phase 2 rehabilitation of Central Street in an amount of $1 million. As with the first item, this was presented to us by His Honor the Mayor, and it was explained that this was a bond order required for Phase 2 of the rehabilitation of the Central Street project, including completing 100% of the design and securing over 100 easements that will be needed for the project. The proposal overall received strong support by comments from Councilor Gould, others, including myself. It led to a motion by Councilor Gould as follows. Peabody City Council, City of Peabody, Massachusetts, bond order for Wilson Square upgrades. Be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Peabody that City of Peabody appropriate the amount of $1 million for the purpose of paying costs of upgrades to the Wilson Square intersection, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto. To meet this appropriation, the City Treasurer is authorized to borrow said amount under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, subsection 7-7, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes to the city of the city, therefore, that any premium received upon the sale of any bonds or notes may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this vote in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 20, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs in a like amount, and that this order be adopted as advertised and read. That motion passed the Finance Committee unanimously, Mr. President, by a vote of 5-0. I now bring it for consideration to the full council. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. You heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Gould.
Yes.
Rozignol.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Welton. O'Neill.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Gamache. Turco.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Thank you, Mr. President. That completes the report of committee.
Thank you, Councilor. We convened as a committee of the whole, convened an executive session to discuss pending litigation regarding 40 Oak Street and an employee post-arbitration settlement. There is nothing to report from that committee, and we'll be moving on to motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do not have any motions, orders, or resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Gould. Councilor Rozignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive 7A and refer to the Committee of the Whole. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor. You heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? The vote. Councilor Rozignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8A.
You heard the motion from Councilor Rozignol. All in favor? Any opposed? To vote. Councilor Rozignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8B. So moved.
You heard the motion from Councilor Rozignol. All in favor? Any opposed? To vote.
No further motions.
Thank you, Councilor Rozignol. Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Not a motion, but I really did want to commend the Code Enforcement Officer, Randy Stuckney, for his commitment to the city and his extra effort he made today to see something through that he's been trying to get done for a couple years, and by reaching out to Councilor Peach in order to get that done. So I really wanted to commend him for that. Also, kind of a public service announcement. If anyone saw the posting for a tree removal at 2 Washington Street, it is not the 400-year-old beech tree. So I thought I'd get that out there in case, people see that, because I did get a couple calls on that. So I reached out to the tree department. It is not the 400-year-old beech tree. It is for a small red maple along the sidewalk. The petitioner wishes to fix the sidewalk and will replace the tree with a healthier species. So that's that. I also want to thank the Tech Services and Mike English and Susan Antonellis for updating the webpage with making it easier access to all the abatements and all the tax assistance forms, and to remind residents that the last day to put in any abatement is February 1st. And again, you can find those documents right on the webpage. All right. That is all I have for this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Manning Martin. Councilor Peach.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, I move to receive item 8C and set up a special hearing, special permit hearing.
Thank you, Councilor. You heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? To vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all for tonight.
Thank you, Councilor Peach. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8D and refer for a special permit hearing. So moved.
Heard the motion from Councilor Welton. All in favor? Any opposed? To vote. Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. No further motions. I did just want to give 2 quick shout outs. First, to thank the Department of Public Service for placing a sanding barrel on Gedney. There was an issue there where part of the street gets very icy, and we had a number of residents up there that had some trouble staying on the road. Fortunately, everyone's safe, and we have that's been addressed. So thank you to Director Bob Lavoisier and his team. And lastly, I would like to recognize Ward 1 resident and ardent Peabody volunteer in very many capacities, Chris Gilbert of Granite Road, for his appointment as a Zoning Board of Appeals alternate. Thank you.
Councilor Welton, we still have to vote on that.
Sorry. My apologies for...
We have to receive it, and then we could vote on it if you wanted to congratulate him.
Sure, thank you. Move to receive item 7B as well. My apologies, Mr. President, on that.
Yeah, you would be Councilor Gould.
If I may, Mr. President, it's always nice to hear the names read out loud. Do you mind, either Councilor Welton or myself? Councilor Welton, would you have the honor of upon the mayor's recommendations? Thank you.
So Councilor Welton, would you read off these folks and then make the nomination and we can vote on it?
Absolutely. And again, my apologies for messing that up, but I would like to recognize the request for appointment for Keith Slattery, 11 Albert Road, Peabody, Mass. for Zoning Board of Appeals member. Chris Gilbert, 55 Granite Road, Peabody,
Hey,
Mass.
can we take these individually with a vote, please?
Yep. So first, Councilor Welton, you're going to take a motion to receive, and then you would make the motion for each individual for the vote.
Sounds good. Motion to receive item 7B.
You heard the motion from Councilor Welton. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. So Councilor Welton, then just take each individual, nominate them for their term and what they're going for, and then we'll vote on them individually. We'll do a roll call vote for them.
I'd like to nominate Keith Slattery, 11 Albert Road, Peabody, Mass. Zoning Board of Appeals member. So moved.
You heard the motion and the nomination from Councilor Welton. Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould. Yes. Rossignol.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
No.
Peach.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Turco.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-1.
Councilor Welton.
Thank you. I'd like to nominate Chris Gilbert, 55 Granite Road, Peabody, Mass. Zoning Board of Appeals alternate.
You heard the nomination. Roll call vote. Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know Chris Gilbert has been working for City Hall for probably the duration of COVID. And I'm not aware that we have people that work for City Hall on boards. That's just striking me as funny, especially for the Zoning Board of Appeals. I'm not aware that we have City Hall workers being on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I think it would be a conflict of interest and not, I'm looking for independent voices to champion neighborhoods, and right now I don't think we have that on the Zoning Board of Appeals, so I won't be supporting this nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Manning Martin. Anybody else on the motion, on the nomination? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould.
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
No.
Peach. Yes. Welton.
Yes.
O'Neill. Yes. McGinn. Yes. Gamache.
Yes.
Turco.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-1.
Councilor Welton.
I'd like to nominate Amanda Greene, 18 Roosevelt Avenue, Peabody, Mass. Conservation Commission member. So moved.
You heard the nomination. Roll call vote, please. Any discussion on that nomination? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould. Yes. Rossignol.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Turco.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Thank you, Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, Councilor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive communication 8E and refer to the Legal Affairs Committee. So moved.
You heard the motion from Councilor O'Neill. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no further motions, orders, or resolutions.
Councilor O'Neill. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On suspension of the rules, move to receive item 7C and refer to finance. So moved.
You heard the motion from Councilor O'Neill, Councilor McGinn, excuse me. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. No further motions.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilor Gamache.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. On suspension of the rules, I'd like to receive item 8F, Albert Tellerico Building Commission's transfer of special permit 49-2000, Armin to Kanamian, American Auto Collision doing business as Route 1 Auto Service, 218 Newbury Street. I'd move to receive that and approve the transfer.
You heard the motion from Councilor Gamache to receive and approve with all papers being in order the transfer. All in favor, any opposed? It's a vote.
Mr. President, I would, through you to Councilor Manning Martin, Municipal Safety, could you research and see where we're at with the right on red that was discussed last year? And I'm very well, and I'm sure some of the councilors are, to see what we can do to try to clean up the right on red in the city of Peabody, and invite Captain Richards to come to the committee meeting, if you may.
Councilor Manning Martin?
Yes, my husband will be very pleased that you,
A lot of people will
that
be
you
pleased.
brought that up.
Yep.
And thank you for reminding me. We'll add, and we'll have to have Captain Richards for the other matter for the auto house. So if I could, we could take a look at the schedule, the calendar for maybe 2 weeks or so. If we can get in a public safety meeting, I can work that out with you, Allison. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilor Gamache.
Thank you.
Councilor Gamache?
Yes. This is something that, we probably could have used tonight. I know that in the past, several years ago when I was on the council, and I'm sure it's probably still pertains to now, any appointments we used to have them come before us and introduce themselves. Quite honestly, I only knew one of these people that we appointed tonight, and I think it would behoove us to have them present, at least to show their face so that we can recognize them, and if there are questions for those applicants, we could ask them. So I would ask that the next time that we have appointments before us, that we ask them to come and get them right off the beginning of the meeting, so they don't have to stick around.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache.
That'll be in the form of a motion.
You want to make that as a motion?
Yes,
That's
please.
Okay. Is that a motion towards the mayor or to the appointing
To the mayor,
body?
he's the appointing
Councilor McGinn?
person.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the motion, through you to Councilor Gamache, I think you mean when it's a new appointment, right? Some of these are reappointments.
Just the new appointments.
So just
the new
I
ones.
think
Thank you for clarification.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Councilor Gamache.
You heard the motion from Councilor Gamache. Councilor, I think you wanted to go to the mayor's office or the appointing body?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
You heard the motion from Councilor Gamache. Any discussion on the motion? And this would be specific to new appointments. Hearing none. All in favor? Any opposed to the vote? Councilor Gamache.
Yes, thank you. Under suspension of the rules, I'd like to go to item 9, presentation and petitions, memorials, and remonstrances. 9A, Class 2 motor vehicle license, 2022 renewal, Boyd Cycles, 25 Walnut Street, Louis BMW, 260 Newbury Street. Move approval, all papers being in order.
Thank you, Councilor Gamache. You heard the motion from Councilor Gamache. All in favor? Any opposed to the vote?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Turco?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just 2 motions tonight. Motion to ask Mr. Gingrich to appear before the Finance Committee for a discussion on opera funding, a status, an overview of the opera funding and where we are with it, and what the intention is in the future. So moved.
You heard the motion from Councilor Turco. Councilor Gamache?
Yes, on the motion, could you also have him give us a listing of where that ARPA money's going that's already been spent on so far?
That was my intent with the motion. Yeah, so I'll be willing to add Councilor Gamache's words to it if you'd like.
Councilor, is this for the Finance Committee that you were recommending? Okay.
Referring that to Finance, yes.
Very good. You heard the motion from Councilor Turco. All in favor? Any opposed to the vote? Councilor Turco?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And my last motion would be a motion to ask our city boards and commissions to update their minutes on the city website. There was an issue that arose this week with one of the boards. There was an attorney looking for minutes from a meeting that took place months ago, and it hadn't been updated. So I went through and looked, and there's several boards and commissions that haven't updated their meeting minutes in upwards of a year. So if we could send that out via email to all boards and commissions to make sure that those are up to date, I would greatly appreciate that. So moved.
The motion from Councilor Turco. All in favor? Any opposed to the vote? Councilor Turco?
No further motions, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Daigle?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one motion. I'll give some quick context to it before I make that actual motion. A few residents have recently reached out to me about traffic problems that they've seen accidents occurring in the intersection of Endicott, King, and Lowell Street. If you're heading west on Lowell Street and lucky enough not to be in traffic and you're from out of town, the way the traffic light is situated, a lot of people don't see the red light, and the people have witnessed a lot of accidents in that intersection. So my motion is to request that police, DPW, and fire review the intersection to determine if it can be made safer through traffic light improvements and/or signage. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Daigle. You heard the Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I think that is an excellent motion, Councilor Daigle, given that that is the most dangerous intersection in the city, and the most recent traffic studies that we got on that identified it as had the most crashes in the city. And given now that we have 133 approved units up on King Street, and now just another 62 units down on Endicott Street, it's only going to get worse. So very timely, very important. Thank you for the motion.
On the motion,
On the motion, Councilor
is
Gamache.
that going to municipal safety, or is that going to just be a direct motion to those 3 individuals you requested? I would, my recommendation would put it in committee so that we can ask more questions concerning it.
Please.
That would be the proper order. So the motion is to forward it to municipal safety?
Yes.
Okay. You heard the motion from Councilor Daigle. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Daigle?
No more motions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I just have a couple of quick things. First, just going off of Councilor Manning Martin had mentioned Mr. Suckney from the inspectional services. I had an issue, took care of it same day. Really, it was one of those things where it just needed some attention. He took care of it. The person called me back immediately that had requested it, and so I would encourage everybody to thank him. He's doing a great job. Secondly, regarding 7A, which is the discussion of the charter, I'm anticipating, and this is as of right now, having a committee of the whole meeting in March. So I'll give plenty of heads up before that happens. My intention is to get as much information to the council, especially the councilors that didn't participate a couple of years ago when this first came up as an issue, so that we can ensure that we have a really good discussion on it, and any questions could happen. So that's the intention for March. And then we will also be having a committee of the whole per the charter regarding salary for the mayor in February. So just keep that in mind. And with that being said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. You heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. We are adjourned.